Okay, guys, on to chapter 10, La Napa. Miguel looks down from his window seat on the plane. The Dominican Republic spreads below him like an enormous emerald green carpet, edged with beaches of snow-white sand. A few hours ago, the ground was a blurry gray. It is hard to believe it is December, that in 2 days it will be Christmas. Beside him in the middle seat, Tia Lola is going through some last-minute tips on island customs. Americans shake hands, she is saying, but Dominicans prefer a kiss. In the aisle seat, Juanita is following the lessons intently. Is that why you're always kissing us, Tia Lola? Do I kiss you too much? Tia Lola asks them. Miguel nods so that Tia Lola will not ask him if he is listening. He is watching the lush green fields coming closer and closer. Tiny trees are becoming life-size, and ant-like shapes are turning into real people. As for Tia Lola's kissing, Juanita is right. Tia Lola kisses them when they come in the house as well as when they go out. She kisses them when they go to bed at night and when they get up in the morning. If she wants to thank them or say she is sorry or congratulate them for helping her clean the house, Tia Lola kisses them as well. Suddenly Miguel feels worried. He is about to encounter a whole island of people who like kissing as much as his aunt. If you go to the market, Tia Lola is saying, and you buy a dozen mangoes, don't forget to ask for your napa. What's that? Juanita asked. A napa is a little bit more that comes at the end. You buy a sack of oranges and you ask for your napa, and you get one more orange or maybe a guava or a cashew or a carmelo. You eat your flan and ask for your napa, and you get another little serving. Let's say a family has 7 children. Then another one is born. The last one is called the napa. So am I the napa in the family? Juanita wants to know. After all, she is her parents' only other child after Miguel. I don't know if it works when there are only 2, Tia Lola frowns. What do you think, Linda? She asks her niece. Across the aisle in her seat, Miguel and Juanita's mother look up from a novel. I think you should all fasten your seatbelts. We're landing. The plane touches the ground with a little bump like a hiccup. The passengers clap. Looking out the window, Miguel can see men sitting in luggage carts, waiting for their arrival. Just beyond the chain link fence, an old man rides a donkey with a sack of what might be mangoes. It's like seeing the modern age and the old days all in one. This is the first time Miguel has ever been to the island his parents both came from. What will it be like? Suddenly he wishes he had paid more attention to Tia Lola's lessons all the way down from Vermont. As they enter the terminal, a band strikes up a merengue. Everyone starts to dance, including Tia Lola and Mommy and Juanita. Miguel is glad none of his friends live here, so he doesn't have to feel embarrassed. They stand on a long line for their turn. Some of the people have red passports. Theirs are blue. Why, Juanita asks her mother. Because we're American citizens. The Dominicans have red. Juanita feels proud that she has an American passport, though she wishes that Americans had chosen reds, since that is her favorite color. The official in this high glass booth checks their passports, peering at Miguel and then at Juanita. No parecen Americanos, he tells their mother. They don't look like Americans. We are Americans, Miguel pipes up. He wonders what made him a real American. Because he was born in New York, unlike his parents, who were both born in the Dominican Republic. Because he speaks English. Because his favorite baseball team is the Yankees. Because he still likes hot dogs more than arroz con hibachas. In fact, when Miguel glances around, he looks more like these Dominicans holding red passports than he does like any of his classmates back in Vermont. Miguel remembers part of Tia Lola's lesson on the plane. Maybe the way to prove he is an American is to act like one. He smiles at the official, then reaches up and shakes his hand. When their suitcases come, 6 men rush forward to help them, even though all their bags have little wheels. No gracias, Miguel keeps saying, but he is explaining about the wheels to one man. Another comes and puts Miguel's suitcase on top of his head like a basket of fruit. "Hey," Miguel calls out, "that's my suitcase." "No problem," the man calls over his shoulder in English as he leads the way through the terminal. "Let him," their mother says. She explains, "Life is so hard here. It's good to help somebody earn a living." But even if life is hard, people seem to be having a good time. Inside the main terminal, everyone is visiting with one another. You can't tell where one family ends and another one begins. A group of little girls dressed up in the frilliest party dresses and boys wearing suits that make them look like tiny waiters are eating pastelillos out of greasy paper bags. The three kings are pictured in a billboard whose pieces suddenly shift and become a man in a cowboy hat smoking a cigarette. Feliz Navidad, everyone wishes each other. Merry Christmas. But how can it be Christmas, Miguel thinks, when the day is as sunny and warm as a midsummer day in Vermont? Ahí están, Tia Lola cries out. There they are. Miguel sees a crowd of relatives standing on the sidewalk outside the terminal. He is surprised they look so normal. He half expected them to shake hands with uncles with 6 fingers and aunts wearing braces on their feet, but his relatives have the same noses, mouths, eyes, ears, and skin color as Tia Lola and Mommy. Although put together in slightly different combinations, so that each one looks like a different person. As Tia Lola and Mommy rush forward to kiss their nieces and cousins and nephews, Miguel stands guard beside the bags that the porters have piled beside him. Some of these bags are packed filled with presents for their cousins. There is nothing for Juanito himself. Their mother has already explained that the trip will be their Christmas gift. Back in Vermont, Miguel thought this was a great idea. All his friends were jealous. You get to go to the beach. You get to go snorkeling and fishing. Maybe you'll even get to meet Sammy Sosa or Pedro Martinez. But now, standing alone with Juanita, watching these strangers hugging and kissing, Miguel wonders if this trip is such a great Christmas gift after all. His father is back in New York. None of his friends are here. He can't ask for a new video game or a glove since the trip costs a lot. Vengan a saludar, Tia Lola is calling them. Come and say hello. Hola, 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 Miguel says over and over in the space of a few minutes. He has acquired a dozen cousins, 4 aunts, 7 uncles. His family has grown into a familia a mile long. How is he supposed to remember so many names? A young boy about his age steps forward. He is wearing a blue baseball cap with a strange insignia on it. Miguel remembers that his mother asked him to pick something out for a young cousin who loves to play baseball, and he knows some English. Me llamo Ángel, he says. My name is Angel. You play baseball? Miguel nods, smiling. Things are looking up. With so many cousins, there are bound to be some he will like. And certainly there are enough cousins to make up 2 teams and still have some cousins left over to watch them play ball. Everything is strange and interesting. They drive into the city past row upon row of wooden market stands. At one stand, coconuts are piled up for sale. At another, pieces of meat and long string of squimmering crabs hang from rods. The smells of cooking food and spices and hot sea air and green vegetation waft into the car. The sea matches the turquoise of the sky, and the houses are painted yellow and turquoise and purple and mint green and pink, and the palm trees are like spraying fountains at the end of a tall, slender trunks. At traffic lights, skinny boys dressed in rags come forward with scraps of cloth to clean the windows. Miguel can't stop staring. Don't they have parents? He asks his mother. A lot of them don't, Mommy says. They live on the street. Miguel has seen street people in New York, and it always makes him feel sad and spooky to think someone doesn't have a real home. But all these street people were grown-ups. These kids are his own age. He feels suddenly very lucky just riding in the back seat of an old Chevy, squeezed between 2 cousins with his mother and his little sister and his aunt, all talking at the same time. At his aunt's house, they sit down to lunch, which is the biggest meal of the day. Miguel has never seen so many dishes of different foods. Every time he finishes some more arroz and pescado asado, ensalada de aguacate were piled on his plate. Rice and beans and roast pig and avocado salad. It's like a napa that will not quit. The meals last for over 2 hours, the uncles and aunts eating and telling stories and eating more. When the meal is finally over, everyone stands up, gives each other a kiss, and disappears. Where did they all go? Miguel asked Tia Lola. La siesta, she explains, to bed, to take a nap. Only babies take nap, Miguel is thinking. How can they be sleepy when it's not time to go to bed? Juanita asked. We have a different sense of time, Tia Lola explains. If someone tells you to meet them at 4, it means any time between 4 and 5. We don't live by the clock. Remember the story I told you? We live by the sun and the sea, and we love surprises. Have you noticed? She winks. Looking at her radiant face and dancing eyes, Miguel thinks, this is the happiest I've seen Tia Lola in a long time. Miguel tries to rest in the bedroom he is sharing with Angel and his brothers. He has begun to worry that Tia Lola is actually planning to stay on the island when they have to return to Vermont. She seems so happy here, speaking Spanish all the time, exchanging stories, fitting right in with everyone else. But if she does stay, Miguel and Juanita, their mother, will have no one to tell them wonderful stories, no one to make frios in the summer or sew his baseball uniforms, no one to think up surprises all the time. This trip has been a bad idea. Once Tia Lola is back on her beloved island, there is no way she will want to return to Vermont. Around him, he can hear his cousins snoring away, enjoying their siestas. He will never be able to sleep in the middle of the day, especially now that he's worried about Tia Lola. As he lies there, he hears the pounding of the sea not far away. It seems to be singing Christmas carols to him. Navidad, Navidad, the wavings sing as Miguel drifts off. The next evening, the whole extended familia gathers together for Nochebuena, Christmas Eve. Mommy and Tia Lola pile the gifts they have brought under a plastic tree on the patio. Later, Santa Claus will be coming from the North Pole to distribute them among the cousins. When is he coming? When is he coming? The littlest cousins keep asking. After you eat your dinner, Tia Lola replies. She is dressed up tonight with gold hoops in her ears and bright red dress in honor of the occasion. Her beauty mark is on the right cheek again. Sometimes it seems Tia Lola forgets and the beauty mark appears on her left cheek or on her upper lip. Sometimes it doesn't appear at all. More and more relatives arrive, and there is more kissing and hugging. Several gold cousins recite poems, and everybody claps. One uncle takes Miguel aside to show him the little bone spur next to his pinky. My 6th finger, he brags. His aunts gossip, exclaiming over how big little Linda has gotten. Miguel wonders if dinner will ever be served. It isn't that he's hungry, but he wants dinner to be over so that presents will be given out. He has figured out a way to get one more gift from Santa Claus. When is dinner, Tia Lola? Tia, he asked the aunt who is Angel's mother. It turns out to be the most flattering thing he can say. This boy is a joy to have in the house, his aunt tells Miguel's mother. He is a good eater. He's polite, he shakes hands like an Englishman, and he says, "Excuse me," when he's interrupted. Miguel's mother is looking from Angel as if to say, you should learn from your perfect cousin. Miguel glances over at his mother, who gives him her "you and I know better" grin. He grins back. Their plates are cleared away. The uncles push back their chairs and light up their cigars. Then the doorbell rings. Standing before them is Santa Claus. He looks different from the American Santa Claus, much more slender, his skin soft brown, his eyes dark and lively, but he still wears white beard and bright red suit and a thick black belt and shiny boots. Silencio, silencio, the little cousins give a shout and rush forward to make their wishes known. When it is Angel's turn, He unfolds his list from his shirt pocket and begins to read. Un bate, una pelota de... That's enough, Angel, his mother calls out, remembering. Be polite. Ask for only one thing. Out of Santa Claus's bag comes the very bat and glove and ball that Miguel picked out for his cousin at the Walmart in Vermont. When all his cousins have received their gifts, Miguel steps forward. My turn, he says. Hey there, my polite and wonderful son, his mother calls out. Remember, you and Juanita already got this trip. Santa Claus looks up at him with the dark, dancing eyes. Yes, Miguel, you already got your gift. But I got it in Vermont, and now I'm in the DR, and my tia Lola says that there we can ask for a napa, a little bit more, after you've gotten what you asked for. Santa looks thoughtful. Your aunt has a point. I do owe you a napa, dear boy. Miguel is grinning. He has been planning this joke on Santa all evening. But Santa is taking him quite seriously. Tell me then, what is it you want? Now that his opportunity has come, Miguel cannot think of what to ask for. He really has plenty of video games, and his worn glove is good enough. The vacation itself is turning out to be fun. The day after tomorrow, they will fly to New York, so he and Juanita can spend the rest of the week with their father and old friends. On New Year's Eve, they'll all go on a special outing to see all the department store windows Papi decorated for Christmas. As Santa draws him close, Miguel notices the flash of gold hoops on Santa's pierced ears. Come to think of it, there is something else he really wants. Thank you, Santa, for the great trip, he begins. Just one thing. When it's over, I want Tia Lola to come back home with us. Santa winks. I'll see what I can do. As Miguel turns to go, Santa catches him by the arm. You are forgetting something, Santa reminds Miguel. Feliz Navidad, Miguel says. Merry Christmas. Then he reaches up and plants a kiss right on the beauty mark on Santa's cheek. That's the end of our book, guys. Thanks for listening.